Hello, and welcome to another edition of Leaders Being Heard. Today we are changing a bit the track, right? So today we are starting a new topic, which is called Lead Yourself. And yeah, we aim to discuss about how aware are we of our challenges at work. So if you're interested in us, welcome and yeah, enjoy the conversation. So first of all, um, challenges, right? This is a word that is really comes to mind, and often I think people might put a lot of meaning to it. So first of all, let's look at why is important to be aware of challenges at work. Why is for us, right, to know what are our challenges, right, and are we aware of them? Christina, what do you say about this?
Yeah, yeah. I think challenges are actually the engine that moves us forward. And either we are aware of them or not, they just keep us in move. What is interesting is how we, if we know if that we are in a challenge or we just struggle, we may be in this position, or we are aware and then maybe do something with it. But what I noticed based on my experience and other colleagues, friends' experience, and is that it's not that easy to identify what challenges, what makes uh, put us in a position to be not so aware of what's happening to us, and that's why we are unclear with what we need to do. So to me, knowing that I have a challenge and knowing what I have to do to change the way I react or the way what I do to change my plan, it became very interesting to notice. And yeah, also something that I noticed around me is that it's not always easy to pinpoint, to say, okay, what what are my challenges, or if I want to grow something at myself, what would be that one or two items? And it's not that easy to say it, you know. And yeah, from this perspective of growth, I think becoming aware of our challenges is very important.
Mm-hmm. And how do you think, and this is an open question for you, right? How do you think so first of all, when you have a challenge at work, right? Or it's not related necessarily to work, but let's frame it to work. How do you, as a human being, as a person, how do you position yourself, or how do you react to challenges, right? So uh, I know this is something personal, right? But how do you react? You are stressed, you don't eat, you don't sleep well. What are some of the signs, let's put it like this, that you have a challenge, right? Is it
Mhm.
something there that might ring a bell? Oh, look, you might have a challenge, or you might,
Mhm.
right? So
I guess everyone has their own personal way to 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 know, and it might be stress. It might be unclearness. I mean, it's not necessarily that I'm stressed, but maybe when I don't understand, or when things are unclear for me, then it's a sign for me that I need a different approach to what's happening. But it may be different for people. I mean, yeah, eating chocolate or I don't know, eating too much or not sleeping or having repeating images. I don't know. It may be the world uh, inside there. They might be triggers, signs of something that is not in the right place, and they call for some action, for some specific action.
Andrea, what do you think about it? It's like, because I have it like when you have challenges, in a way, Christina put it like it's a grow opportunity, but also I see it like it's when you are out of your comfort zone, right? So it's and getting out of your comfort zone also comes, I associate it with a bit of stress in a way, right? It's growing, but it's also stressing in a way.
When you have a challenge and you don't deal with it and it keeps staying there, it has an impact on you, and it might manifest in different ways. It can be, for example, for me, it's probably working more to try to fix it. It impacts, I'm not spending time with my family, or I'm not present with my daughter because I keep thinking of other things. I eat more. This is what I do when I'm stressed. So it's a domino. This is when it's a big challenge. So another idea to start to be aware of your challenges is to bring peace of mind and to enjoy work, and to see, okay, there is something I'm not comfortable with. It's something that is happening, that it has an impact on my life, and to be able first to stop and to acknowledge it, like to see it a bit from outside. This is what is actually going on with me. Something is going on because I'm out of the
I'm eating
I
too
would
much.
say balance. Yeah, I'm eating too much. Or so what is going on? It might be not work, but the idea is inside work is what is going on, what's impacting me.
So in a way, what you tell us is more like to be aware of your behavior, right? Like how off the charts or how off the regular is it, right? Like you are eating too much, you are not sleeping well, right? Whatever it's for each one of us is different, right? You might sleep well, but you eat too much. I don't know. You don't do sports compared to before, right? Or you say, I don't have the time. Sometimes this is right. Or you work too much. It's a classic, right? It's you work too much, right? You work 10 hours and then you are exhausted and burn out, right? So this is like the stopping, right? To notice, to stop and notice what's wrong with me, right? What is happening to me. But how you do that? Because I think it's like it's easy to say in theory, but actually it's when you are on the court out there, right? When you are in the midst of fire, you don't know what you don't know, you are stressed, and it's difficult to observe, right? So is it like a recipe or something to some practices that you might have for you as a person to kind of look at this behavior, or to kind of notice that, well, I'm out of the charts?
Well, it's just for you to catch it at some point. There isn't only if you already learned to reflect. Like if you stop, for example, once a week and you look at what worked, for what did not work for me this week, and you start seeing, and then you do something about it, this is something you might notice, there is something. But otherwise, it's just to catch it. Usually you catch it when it becomes and it becomes obvious. Oh my God, what happened in the last 2 weeks? And then it's something you can do about it once you catch it. But this is, now that you ask, it's something you can bring into, I want to reflect what happened this week. Or every few days, every month, whatever works for you. It's just to stop a bit and to look, okay, what happened?
I compare this with, in a way, with, I will give a parallel with when you when you feel ill, or you feel like you don't feel well, you go to the doctor, right? But sometimes you might end up to the doctor too late, unfortunately, right? So one of the things for prevention is to go on a regular basis, right, to the doctor, like every couple of months or 1 year, right, every year, to do a checkup. Well, am I okay or am I not okay, right? So it's the same with this one, right? Periodically, to kind of look at, to reflect on, am I okay or not? right? Not to end up in the crisis directly. How do you do this, Christina? Do you have like a practice such as like this, or how do you see yourself in when you are dealing with challenges?
It's very interesting. It varied in time, and it's interesting how things get clear for me in terms of what are my challenges and what do I do with them. For example, for me, it is a state of discomfort. It is the feeling that something is not okay. And then it's not clear. I mean, it doesn't have a name, and it's not very easy to point it. And for me, I need a little bit of time to realize what is happening actually. And then the moment I become aware, it's easier to deal with it. But this time frame from the feeling, from the moment, I mean, when I realize that there is something I can't catch, and then until I really can point to something, it's a time that I'm conscious, but I need to let it pass. Yeah, I need to let it sink. I need to let my mind think in the background about it. Or I discovered there are other ways to fast track this, is when asking for help for a colleague, friend, when I talk about it, and then some items become faster, clearer. This is a very interesting tool to talk to somebody, and I'm not sure that many of us are open to discuss with friends, with close ones. It depends on how big it is, how heavy it is, what bothers you. I'm thinking, for example, at people that want to change their profession, for example. How easy or how complicated it is? Where the challenges, the struggles maybe come from many threads. It's not only the person's transformation, but the person in the context of the family, the person in the context of the current job, the context of transformation. So it really is the process how to identify and to get to take a decision. I think it's a space there where, as Andra was saying, we need the reflection and we need to be present at what's happening. And yeah, I'm not sure how many of us are patient enough to look in the mirror, you know?
And it's something like when you say that you gave the example with changing a job or changing the domain, it's actually to reflect on the reasons. It might be something that you're avoiding and you are going to end up finding it in the next job too. So this is something that, why do I do that? Like if it's a clear reason and it's money and it's something that you avoid, something that like my discovery at the beginning, changing jobs because it was actually me, doing overtime. It was, I leave the company because I'm doing overtime. And then in the second one, I'm still doing overtime. Well, there must be something for me to look here. So it's to look at the reasons behind a bit. I just wanted to complete on what you said, to add.
Yeah, and I think that's why I relate challenges with growth, or maybe with development. Okay, I don't know if there is a difference or not, but it's about us changing. It's about us doing something towards us being more comfortable with ourselves. And I think that's the context also for us with Lead Yourself, because it's coming back to us. If we when we are aware of what's happening, then it's easier to have a peace of mind and get where we want. Maybe faster or more realistic to get there. Is not only dreaming about it.
So today we are discussing about how to identify, right, challenges, how to become aware. In the next episode, in the next session, we are going to look at how to deal with challenges, right? So if you want to see also how to deal with challenges, stay with us for next week, and come again next week in 2 weeks, right? And thank you for this, and check on how to do it, right? There are some recipes, some things that you might be aware of or not, so just be there with us. So coming back to today, right, becoming aware. So one of the tools that we identify here is self-reflection, right? Like self-reflection done on a I would say regular basis, right? Like looking at, but also when we realize some of our triggers, right? And what is like becoming aware of our triggers, like as Andra said, oh, I'm eating too much, I'm not sleeping well, right? So when this happen, you need to in a way self-reflect. So stop. Yes. So this is something that we take for granted in this conversation, right? But how do you come also aware of your triggers, right? Of your stress? Like, is it like that obvious for each one of us? Like when we are stressed, we react in a certain way, or when we are dealing with challenges, we react in a certain way. So how you identify those triggers, right? Like this points to, well, I need to go into self-reflection. Is it a way?
You want to ask, how do you self-reflect? Because there isn't a way. You already asked that.
No. I'm thinking more like before self-reflecting, right? You have some triggers, right? You have something to kind of look at. Oh, now it's the moment to stop, right?
Yes.
And how do you know those triggers, right? Because you might even not be aware of those, right? This is something, you sleep bad, but you don't know. I mean, you are stressed, but you don't know. You are not aware even that you might need to take a moment.
This is something that you need to catch it, and it might be different. That is why I said I answered already. There isn't I don't have a recipe. It might be a friend is telling you, or your wife is telling you, and then you might ignore it, and you might say they don't know what they talk about, or you might think, oh, might be something going on.
Go ahead. In that one, I think look at what you're complaining about. So if you're complaining, I haven't slept enough for some days, for some months.
Yes,
you know?
but here is that means that you self-reflect already. That is what the answer that I wanted to give. When you ask yourself, what am I complaining about? You are already reflecting. So if you do this as a practice, and you stop and you look, what are the questions to ask yourself? So that is not it. It's if you ask yourself, what am I complaining, means that you already do that by default.
Yeah, true. Yep. But to answer to Mario's question, so how do you notice? Is just look back and see. I mean, now,
reflect.
Yeah, this is the moment. Okay, if you don't know where to look at, one direction to look is hear yourself. What are you complaining about? Yeah, and then see, are you complaining about yourself? Are you complaining about the others? Are you complaining about the system, like I do about the teaching system? So that would be one way to do it. Sorry, and another way to do it, I know Andra and Becca, they do an interesting program that help people identify their triggers and how. Andra, I think you can say it better than me, but they have a very interesting program there.
Yes, it's about triggers at work. You can identify the behaviors that there are specific behaviors that trigger you and how to deal with that. So it's an awareness process, as you said. We go through some steps and we actually look at what is the behavior, what is your reaction to that behavior, and what is the impact of that. And it's a reflection exercise in which you actually have the chance to look at it and create a new practice. But first is the awareness. How am I responding? How am I reacting to that? What am I doing? How would I like to actually respond? So that is it's a process of becoming aware.
So I see that a lot of this conversation starts with you being willing to reflect, to look at what you are dealing with, right? Like taking out. So another practice that I see here is like when you do something very intense or you are stressed, just take a pause, right? Take a walk, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes in the park, clear the mind. And in this time, basically, you will have like this clarity, right? You are going to do some self-analyzing. And this is what I think what we pointed out, right? When we deal it with challenges, right? We do overtime, right? We work more, and sometimes it's more. I'm saying sometimes it's more inefficient, right? This way, rather than taking a step back and taking a break, like for some time, and thinking with a clear mind. And it's kind of contrary to what we think in that moment, right? So this is something that I think it's really difficult in a way to do, right? Like put the break when you are.
It's a new habit to create, to learn to stop, and it's going to be difficult at the beginning. You might not get results, but the idea is stick with it. If what you want is to grow and to develop and to enjoy life, yes.
Cool. Right. So so I think today is anything else, first of all, for you ladies that you want to add to this conversation?
Yes, I want to like with the self-reflection with the questions, as Christina said, a few ideas for everybody is to look at what was that did not work for me this week. Maybe it was a meeting, maybe it was a conversation with somebody. Like what are the behaviors of others that I don't like? And to stop and look at that, and how would you like to actually deal with that? Or to look at mostly is when you complain of others, and then it's actually to stop a bit, to reflect what is going on and what you can do about it. So there are the questions to reflect. There is also a positive part, like you can look at what worked and to keep doing that, because you become aware of also what works, so you don't stop doing it. Yeah, there are two sides. And then what doesn't work, what is actually going on with me, and this is and get help when you cannot figure out on your own. And usually that happens when the impact is big. Yeah, that is what I wanted to add.
Thank you. Now you have also the tools to let's put it like this, to self-reflect on what is there. And thank you for this. So today we look a bit at this, how we became aware of our challenges at work. And the first step that we identify is being willing to. The second are some tools that we offered you, like questions that you might ask yourself, right? And do it on the regular basis. Perhaps we can also create like a workbook for this. What do you say, ladies? We'll see, to offer to our viewers. Yeah. And yes, I think this is the basis for our for us being happy in a way, right, at work, and being fulfilled in what we do. So although I cannot emphasize how important this aspect is in our life, I invite you, all of you, to just try it for some time, for a couple of months, right, to see where it leads you. So yes, if you also have something to share with us, how you do it in your life, just please write in the comments, right? And we are curious about how you do it. And with that said, I like you to I would like to close this podcast, this episode. Thank you, Andra. Thank you, Christina.
Thank
It seems
Thank
like
you.
I'm a bit bumbling myself anyway.
We are all humans.
Yes,
It's fine.
yeah, we are all humans. Thank you for that. And don't forget to subscribe and like our channel, our videos to be up to date to our latest episodes. So thank you and have a great and wonderful day.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.